The sun moves into Leo, and we will have a courageous new moon at 2 degrees of Leo as well. It is time for all of us to step into our power. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to my subscribers. If this is the first time you're coming across my YouTube, please consider subscribing. I'm a new YouTube presence. My name is Catherine Bachman. I'm an astrologer and a psychotherapist, and I blend my modalities. I do my best to speak primarily English. For those of you that are like, I get too confused with all that, the lingo of astrology. I'll study that and show you that I actually do work with the charts, interpret it for you in order to make it a little bit easier. Before I get started, please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and please leave comments. And visit my website, catherineastrology.com. If you want to ask questions, my email is there. There's also a button to click if you want a free birth chart. It is not interpreted. It is just the basic birth chart. I strongly recommend find a very simple, the simplest basic chart interpretation book that's out there. I used to recommend Stephen Arroyo. Not sure if it's still in print. There's tons of basic astrology out there that you can get, and then you can learn about your own, your sun sign, your moon sign, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, and what all of those planets mean. You can learn about the signs related to the planets and the 12 house system. Anyway, welcome. Thank you. Let's get going here on this. I should first check in to see, are you still breathing? The 4th of July was really hard for most people. Most people didn't celebrate. Millions of us were out on the streets and there was radio silence. Even though CBS and other networks were filming. I'm a member of Indivisible in Southern Oregon, and we had thousands on the streets, Indivisible, and our message of becoming united, pushing back against the fascist movement and this government. It was an amazing opportunity to get out there, to connect with others and to see how passionate people are about, no, this is not what we want. This is not what we want in our government, in our country. We don't want this happening to our families, our friends, the natives. And, it's like this regime is making it really clear. They don't care whether you're a citizen, naturalized, or have been here 3 or 4 or 10 generations. They don't care. They are doing an ethnic cleansing or attempting. They're not going to succeed. So it's a matter of, showing up. So that was a very powerful, positive thing to do on Friday, July 4th. But most people were really sickened knowing that this bill was going to be passed and that he would sign it into law on July 4th. Everything they do is calculated to be the most impactful, to push us down, to defeat us, to discourage us, to disable us, to immobilize us. The most exciting, fun thing to do is go have a parade and dance and sing, and then go dancing afterwards to local rock and roll bands or bluegrass or whatever. This is the way to counteract. We have to remain hopeful. We have to know that signature on that bill that most Republicans never even read, that Trump didn't read, that bill will be the end of them. They've signed upon that bill, their own professional, their own political undoing. I don't want to go into all of the things that are in this bill. It's not possible. It was a 900-page bill. There's a lot of big shockers. Everything that they're saying, everything that is being said on Fox News is not the truth about this bill. It is going to destroy Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, pretty much shift us into, which was a thing that he said today. It was a videotape. He said this stuff out loud. Is that, yeah, we have all these detention centers and they're gonna be full, and it makes total sense that those people need to work to help pay for their stay. So yeah, slavery, I think, doing slave labor is a good thing. There are no secrets about what they're wanting to turn this country into. We can't stand for it. We just have to stay strong. More and more millions of people that had bought the lies of this administration. If they're speaking, they're lying. The people that have bought this, I think, are really beginning to see the truth. We have to, the rest of us, not get vengeful. We need to be supportive and thank them. Yay! Yay! Join us. Because it's going to take the population, the whole population, to say no. And to show up on the streets, we need to now the next steps in overturning a fascist state and doing a peaceful revolution or evolution. Let's don't call it revolution. Let's call this a peaceful evolution. The next step is that we all have to get together and on a local basis across the country and begin the process. Stop work, don't buy from corporations, and do that. Be prepared. Prepare yourselves first to have enough resources or to network in the community with how do we do this? Because there are so many people that are on the edge, and the inflation is just beginning to hit in our stores. We're just beginning to see bare shelves in auto parts stores and other places, as we're going to get, and grocery stores even. Start working locally, start organizing locally, and begin this process of stepping into your power and not allowing these guys to push us down, to make us go into hopelessness, helplessness, depression, or anxiety. And I know many, 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 many of us out there, many people, and I have my moments. I'm going to just be honest. I have my moments because I am watching this. I have learned to be more detached, but it still gets to me every so often. And my guides are guardian angels or somebody. It's like almost on a daily or every other daily process. I'm like knocked out for about an hour. Cannot keep my eyes open. And it's deep, deep rest that's happening. And not everyone has the luxury of doing that. I am 73 years old. I'll never retire, but especially as long as there's this kind of stuff going on out there, I work out of home, so I have the luxury of being able to stop the train and rest and take in new information, to wake up refreshed and more positive and shake that off. It's like, okay, it got to me again. Well, I'm human. We're going to be looking at next week, which is going to be a very powerful week. The sun moves into Leo for the next 30 days on, what day was that? Wow, this month has gone fast. Yeah, the 22nd. Mercury is retrograding this coming Friday. He hasn't retrograded yet. He will be in Leo. My video from last week goes over that week and what that information means. Don't be afraid of Mercury retrogrades. It's a 3-week period, 3 times a year, of us actually needing to rethink, redo, and reconsider. It's a 3-week period of finding mistakes. or being able to rework, rethink, reconsider, and go, you know what? This isn't working for me now. What are the shifts that I need to make? Sunday the 20th, actually Sunday and Monday look pretty positive, pretty quiet. We have the ongoing challenges that we've been dealing with since last fall. So those energies are still there. We've either detached from it to some degree, or we are actively working with those energies. So we know that that's there. There's not going to be anything really new. If it's draconian, if it hurts people, if it's destabilizing, et cetera, et cetera. These guys are going to just keep doing it on a daily basis. So there is a point that it will stop and will no longer work, and we will have met that critical mass point where it's over. When enough people get to that point, that's when it will happen. Astrologers and intuitives, mediums, we can get a range of possibilities. So we're in that the most intense month of the year. August and September will be when we will start to see some transitions, some changes, because between now and actually March through the rest of this month, intense amounts of information are going to come out. Mercury's going to trigger that as well. But it's also the time of all of us moving into Leo energy. And the fire signs, or if you have a lot of fire in your chart, this is absolutely going to give you the vision of who you are now and what is your piece or what is your part and how you can stand up, how you can move into community and support yourself and support others. Again, do not isolate. Do not isolate, because that's when you can go into this doubt and depression and confusion, and those energies are not productive for anyone. There are a lot of beautiful energies in the chart for July 22nd, which is when the sun moves into Leo. So let's talk about Leo. Leo is the courageous lion and lioness. Leo is the benevolent king or queen. Leo is our courage, and our Leo, the lions and the lionesses, are very protective energies. Jupiter in Cancer, which, the cosmic Santa, justice, truth, justice, and those energies in the sign of Cancer, caring about nurturance. Jupiter is a fire sign. He rules Sagittarius, but he's traveling through Cancer, which is where he is exalted. So his energies now for the next year are going to be, what do we need to change in the laws for there to be more justice and actually applying the laws, healing or changing the laws, applying the laws to support people, to support women, children, families, security of all kinds, nutritional, financial, having homes, being, all of the things that give us a sense of security. Those things can be improved over the course of this next year. The sign of Leo for the next month gives all of us this extra boost of passion and courage to step in, to step up, to demand, in a way, fearlessly. Mars went through Leo off and on for 5 months. He's now in Virgo. So it's like, okay, now it's time with Mars. Represents our action to get down to the nitty gritty, to pay attention to the details and practical application of things. So with the sun moving into Leo, it is one of those moments of reckoning, because he is going to move into opposing Pluto. And Pluto is a planet of death, rebirth. He rules Scorpio energy, but he is traveling through Aquarius for the next 20 years or 19 years. And in Aquarius is about the truth, digging up the deep underbelly of the secrets of the world, of our country, of families, of those in power and authority. So the sun opposing those in power and authority and demanding the truth also triggers the exposure of truth. The sun opposing Pluto is going to trigger, particularly as at this time Mercury will be retrograde. There are going to be people that are going to be whistleblowers, that are going to come up with evidence and documentation. The research that's been going on behind the scenes since the election last year, where there are those internationally, democratic societies, countries that have been investigating their own elections and have been collaborating behind the scenes with people in our country that are not this regime, that are not the current administration, but collaborating on investigations. And there is that information yet to come out. It's beginning to. We have lawsuits happening in a number of states where it's pretty clear the election, there's so many election anomalies, and in some instances, Harris didn't get any votes. So are we going to believe our eyes, our lying eyes, as this administration would want us to do? Are we going to realize that we all witnessed stadiums full of supporters for Harris and Walz. We witnessed very small venues whenever DT went out and did his campaigning. There were reports of people having to be paid to go to those. And, pretty much that's what they've done for years as well. But there weren't hundreds or thousands or multiple thousands. There were maybe a couple hundred in the majority. And people, as soon as he went into his presentation, people wandered out. No, this man did not get all the swing states and the majority of the popular vote. He did not. That's going to come out. And then we have to decide as a country what we're going to do with that. I don't think we want to leave these guys in so they can continue to terrorize the population of this country, gathering people up in these concentration camps so they can enslave them, make them do forced labor. Oh my God. It's their last ditch effort to maintain or try to hold on to power. But they messed with the wrong country. They didn't think we would push back. They did not. They figured we'd just lay down and roll over, and that's not what's happening. It is going to be painful for the next 6 months with the things that have been broken that will need to be restructured. I would say the third week of July, starting July 20th through the 27th, up to the 27th, and even at the end of the month. These were the weeks where I felt like there's going to be new information that comes out. There's going to be new actions, potentially global. Yeah. And again, none of us know. Things change on a daily basis. There's so many moving parts in what's going on globally that, very, very difficult to predict. But Sun opposing Pluto, it's really clear that people are finding their courage, they're finding their passion. They need to protect their families and children and the resources that our government is just being drained of money with these guys. And there is a global conspiracy between our president and a certain head of another country, starting with an R. YouTube. Entertainment only. I really do need to say, these are my opinions and this is for entertainment only. So this will be a time of challenging and finding the courage and getting ourselves out there and motivated. We can't sit in victimhood. We cannot. It's a luxury that no one can afford at this point in time. As the sun is in Leo, the moon has just moved is at 2 degrees of Cancer. So there's a semi-sextile to the sun, and that's a positive energy of support. The moon is moving into a conjunction where it's the same degree in the same sign with Jupiter, the cosmic Santa. So moon represents our emotions. Moon represents the people. Moon represents security, nurturance, all of those kinds of things. And there is an undercurrent with the asteroids, with Jupiter and with the moon and Jupiter, but mostly Jupiter, begin in a beautiful trine, which is a gift. It's a triangle to Vesta, which is an asteroid, the feminine quality of getting the sacredness of life, sacred sexuality, sacred processes, very Virgo kind of energy. We need to come together to discuss with Jupiter our plan, the bigger overall plan. I really see organizations happening all over the country on local levels and connected to national organizations that are about opposing what's going on and looking at how do we also protect all the way to the local level, to the family level. And so Vesta says, in the sign of Scorpio, we know how to take care of this. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So we know how to transform this. The dark moon of Lilith, it's kind of, these guys know how to tap into our core fears. And so the dark moon is where emotionally we've been wounded. And so that core fear is being triggered. But Jupiter, when we can take a positive action to alleviate what's going on, to transform with just Scorpio energy, transform what's going on. It's a good day, right? Juno, I talked about in my last video as well. She's an asteroid who represents kind of our commitment to relationships, marriages, and what have you. But she also, the dark side of her energies are abuse and betrayal. Abuse and betrayal. So Juno is also trying to the cosmic Santa Jupiter, and also trining the North Node. So she kind of comes in trining that North Node, which is karmically what we're here to do. North Node is traveling through Pisces. Pisces is the 12th sign of the Zodiac. The highest vibration is agape love, Christ consciousness. The lower vibrations are surrender, depression, fear, manipulation, lies, those kinds of energies. But a trine is the gift. So this is the signal that part of when we get together and we look at legally how we can do things, or cosmically, spiritually, how we can do things. So meditation, prayer, what have you. But the trine to Jupiter and the trine to the North Node. So we've got that grand trine, which is one of the most powerful gifts, in the geometry of astrology. It indicates a very powerful gift. Juno says, we are not going to tolerate. We are not, absolutely not, the feminine, women, and those who love women, are not going to tolerate these abuses another day. Not another day. Now, it may take us a few days or a few months to stop this and to make things right, but it is a commitment to our evolution, our spiritual evolution as a country, as a people, as a species on the whole planet. So this is happening around the world. It's not just energies that we are working with. There is a global movement of the people that's saying, no more. We are done with this. We're done with wars. We're done with the violence. We're done with the inequality. We're done with the sexism, the misogyny. We are done with all of the abuses. Getting together on a local level to be part of a state and a nationwide group on what are we going to do, organizing, getting things going, taking care of people locally. I think the next steps are going to be we're just not going to show up to work anywhere. And that may take a few days. And there can be the no buying of anything. So those are two things that really hurt the oligarchs. It will hurt the country. But at the same time, businesses in our country, they're not supporting us. They're okay with us becoming enslaved, and they get their tax breaks, right? We didn't see an outrage in the media or anywhere. We do have some oligarchs who are stepping up and giving money to organizations that have been cut off, who are helping to fund not so much the revolution or the evolution, maybe, yeah, but they see what's happening. They hate it. They're people that are philanthropists. They give most of their money away anyway because it is the right thing to do. There's way too many oligarchs and what 1% of the millionaire billionaires that are like, oh no, we have to keep building, and there's never going to be enough money for them. So we all know what we're dealing with. But this is going to be the beginning of particularly July 22nd, just the sun moving into Leo. There are so many. I'm going to show you. All of the little pink triangles. You can hardly see the yellow highlighting. Now, all of these little pink triangles and sextiles and energies are, all of the energies are supportive and moving into taking right action with the Mars conjunct the South Node. We have the knowledge, we have the wisdom, we have the commitment and dedication to make this stop. The more that we can take action to push through our fears, the more that we can move into the Chiron healing, the wounded healer energy of new beginnings. He's traveling through Aries. So Trans-Pluto, which is our core wounding, our core fear around our ability to be independent, self-sufficient, is trining Chiron. So if we can move through our fears and start to take action and start to get together with other people, we can find solutions locally and statewide and nationally. Venus and Hygeia, so trust your intuition. Uranus is newly into Gemini. Yay! Information is like sparking all over the place, and he is in trine, the gift, to Pluto. Those of us that are tied in, connected, intuitively connected within community, and absolutely taking our power back, getting out of depression and feeling, blocked and frustrated and all of that. With that trine to the planet Uranus, and in air signs is the beginning of the very fast-paced change of moving into this new age. It is an age of information. Right now, information is being used. All of our personal information on the dark side of Pluto and Aquarius is being harvested, and in order to try to control us. That's a dystopian world I am not going to give an ounce of attention to, other than to speak to it at this point. So that's one very low vibration of how information and technology are going to be used against the people and against the world, because these guys are dissolving all the regulations and don't care how much they pollute. They're destroying those kinds of things. The people, the rest of us, want a thriving, healthy Earth, and for all future generations. Uranus in Gemini, there are all of those souls. And Uranus, in particularly, it's like getting in touch with the child within in the sign of Gemini. Gemini really is about the perpetual, the lifelong teacher and the lifelong student. And as we learn, and learning and transformation is going to happen. I'm not going to try to snap my fingers. It's going to happen so fast, it'll take our breath away. It will be hard to stay on top of all of the changes, and it can be good news. So getting in touch with the little boy, little girl inside will help us to lighten up, will help us to tap into knowledge and wisdom from the cosmos. We have ET support. We have cosmic brothers and sisters that are watching, that are rooting for us, that will be showing up in this next 6 months to help us, Sedna is conjunct. Sedna is another of those fixed stars who represent, the feminine, but the feminine energy that also is kind of very Saturn-like, feminine structures of particularly in Gemini, of coming up with, creating balance and, not taking everything so seriously. That would be a good thing too. But right now we are in serious times. So her energy is with Uranus. So we need some practical applications, Uranus. So let's get busy and let's get those, applications happening, those ideas, those inspirations, the people, and even the children are coming up with this stuff. This is where our age, our physical human age, is really going to kind of everything is going to balance out when our children are going to come up with ideas and inspirations. So please, please, please listen to these kids, youth, all through the school ages. So this is going to be the time where a lot of information will come. The more we can be detached and know that we can solve this, that we'll all put our heads together, even the littles, we'll put our heads together and we'll figure it out. So that's a really positive thing. We've got healing energy here. We've got practical ways of taking action. We have transformative commitment energies of the feminine coming in. Women, absolutely. Women get it. They see it. They know how to fix it. And we're not going to be suppressed or repressed anymore. The fact that they started attacking us first, back in the first regime, after the 2016 election, and he was not elected at that time. The fact that this has been going on for that long, it is part of the Agenda 2025 to take everything away from women and give it to their husbands or the men. And it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Women are strong and powerful at this time. Fearless, transformative. Join your local indivisibles or 50501 or unions or whatever it is, and tap into the women because they have solutions. Neptune and Saturn are also exactly trining the sun. Now, Neptune is retrograde, and by this point in time, because Saturn goes retrograde on the 13th, these two are retrograde. So now, and they're still very close together, 1 degree apart. The trine to the sun is coming into the courage. Okay, we need to rethink, redo, reevaluate, compassion, forgiveness, integrate more compassionate structures into the structures of our world. It's not about shaming men or shaming these people. It's about going, you can't tell me that they don't feel. Now, I do know psychopaths, sociopaths, malignant narcissists they don't care. But all of the feeling and emotion is about them, so if it's about them, they feel, and they're very, big victims and all this kind of stuff. When they're the ones creating the pain and suffering and chaos in the world right now. Saturn, Neptune, it's like the trine to Estrella. It's really for men on the planet and those women with strong male energy and vice versa. When I speak of women, I'm talking about the sacred feminine. And so that energy is in both men and women. With this energy focused on the male energies, it's absolutely about, please be willing to let go of what you thought masculinity was, let go of your sense of being disempowered and disillusioned, and come more into your hearts, and for those of you who are very, the water signs, very compassionate and caring, nurturing, know that having a big heart is not a detriment. For water signs, it's about learning detachment and being able to set boundaries, and being able to set boundaries on yourself, your own emotions. Grieve. We all are grieving. Set limits on it, and then take action. Venus and Hygeia, the medical intuitive, psychic surgeon, the feminine asteroid related to that are traveling in Gemini. And they are trine, which is again the gift, Pallas Athena, the warrior priestess, the purveyor of the arts. That trine is really saying to all of us, trust your intuition. Make sure that you take some time every day. And if you have to go lock the bathroom door, if you've got a very active household, I used to have to do that when I was raising children. It's like, take some time, or just set boundaries with your family. Go, I need my 10 or 15 minutes. Everyone take care of themselves. I know you can do it. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to take this 15 minutes. Shut everything down, do some deep breathing, go into meditation, ask for your guides and guardian angels to be there, be in support, to give you information that you need in order to deal with whatever's going on, to go in and just have a good cry. And again, setting some limits, setting some time. I'm willing to do that. And sometimes when those guides and guardian angels talk to us, and with this particular energy, we're trusting our intuition, and our intuition, our guides and guardian angels, will be giving us strategies on how to be able to move into this energy, move into more independence and self-sufficiency, to be in community. This energy says it's time. We can do this now. And Venus is very much involved in trining Pallas Athena, the warrior priestess, purveyor of the art, and conjunct Hygeia. So the two of them, Hygeia and Venus in Gemini, have all kinds of information coming up. This can also be, I have to talk to my guides on a regular basis and just say, wait a minute, I have to have a certain amount of sleep. If it's really important, make sure I remember, the messages coming during sleep time. And or as information comes in during the day or what have you, make sure you have a notepad and a pen and you can jot things down. Information will come to you, and maybe it's oh my God, why didn't I think of that? Kind of revelation. You're not going to forget it. You don't have to write it down. But anyway, those are some things to do. And the last thing I would say for the next month with Sun and Leo, starting July 22nd to about August 22nd, is to make sure that you plan time to rest and to play and to choose joy, to choose happiness. There's a beautiful grand trine around nurturing yourself in this way. That's a signature of the month coming up ahead. There's more I could spend time on, but I don't want to do that at this point. I don't want this to be an hour-long video. Okay, let's talk about this new moon coming up on July 24th. Actually, let me go back one day. July 23rd, Wednesday, the next day after the sun goes into Leo, the sun sextiles Uranus. So I would expect some fast-paced news items coming in, changes, some exciting and positive news, or on an individual level, exciting and positive information popping into your brain, or you get a contact from someone that says, love your resume, come in, let's do an interview. It's positive information. If you're in the process of manifesting, this is a really good time to receive that kind of information. The moon conjuncts Jupiter at that time in Cancer, also on July 23rd. So emotionally, the news that's coming in for us on the global level, or on our United States, U.S. level, or is going to be positive. It's going to help soothe us. We're going to take it in as a positive piece of information. Now, let's talk about this new moon. New moon at 2 degrees of Leo. So the sun and moon at 2 degrees of Leo and there's a whole bunch of trines and grand trines, or singular trines. So I'll show you again the pink lines on this chart. Let's get into interpretation. This comes in July 24th, and that's a Thursday. Just some of the basics up front is it's the new moon at 2 degrees of Leo. So emotionally, we're going to feel much more courageous, passionate, positive. Leo is a very optimistic sign. I'm a Leo rising, and sometimes what I can, I say I'm an optimistic astrologer. Trying to be pragmatic, but I'd rather give you the good news and the good things that we can do, and know that there's all this really the hard stuff under the surface, but we need optimism at this point in time, and optimism is contagious. It is truly contagious. So be the light, be the fire. Find that fire in your belly. That's what we need to do. So the sun, moon, both are saying, it's time to party. It's time to now, both of the lights, the sun and moon, oppose Pluto. The people are coming together physically, spiritually, emotionally, very powerfully. Mercury is conjunct, particularly, or just 1 degree out of a conjunction, but close enough at this point that I would give some influence there. So what this means is that there can be good news coming out related to the abuses of power that are going on. This could be more investigations being revealed to the public. It can be other authorities, or just the pushback from the people. Again, continuation of this. And a continuation of, here are the grievances, here are the things that are not working, and we're not going to tolerate anymore. People coming together and coming up with strategies. How do we protect the people? And really, this whole new moon at 2 degrees of Leo chart is about exposing the truth. What are the truths? And shame on the corporate media. Shame on the corporate media. They're not going to expose what's going on with the people. And guess what? They're going to be, once this all collapses, they're going to be one of the most regulated, and no longer, I think, one of the things the people are going to demand is that our news, anyone doing news and educating the public, is going to be a public-owned entity. There will be no more of this for-profit lying propaganda machine in this country. And that's one of the pieces I think has been responsible for so much of this. Because many of us that are baby boomers, I think I've said this before in past videos, remember when there was the Fairness Doctrine and Ronald Reagan, which was put in place by FDR, that we have to have truth. That the media, which is impacting all people, have to be told the truth. And certain networks out there and radio shows and what have you have been built on lying to the people. It's been a psyops operation. The military industrial complex has mastered how do we do propaganda to convince people. And, as a therapist, I would tell you, it's just psychologically, if you tell this big whopping lie to people 6 or 7 times, they believe it. if they are not willing to go out there and do their own research, when you have a population that is working so hard, they don't have time to do the research. So, we all need to take responsibility. And I think that's coming. But we also need to acknowledge how devious, and this has been going on for thousands of years. This is some of the leaving this age, the Piscean age of lies and manipulation and service and suffering, and moving into the Aquarian age. Aquarian energy is about truth. Uranus demands we tell the truth. Part of our rebuild, when we are ready to do that, is going to be we have to deal with media. And how dare they not cover what's going on for the people, the people's movements? Okay, there's a solution for that. Media can no longer be owned by individuals or corporations. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on that. We need to nurture ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to live passionately, live in community, but we also have to take time to realize we're in physical bodies and that we need to take care of and nurture ourselves. If your body says, we're going to go get in the recliner and we have to take a nap, for those of us who are elders and have health issues, we have to do that. I'm sorry. I would love to be able to be out there every day fighting. I used to do that. I've done that most of my life as a Leo rising, Pluto first house. And it's not what I want to do at this point in my life. I want to attract to me the family, the team, those that see me and value me for who I am, for my integrity. There are many truths out there, so I kind of have to be careful that there are many truths, that mine isn't the only one. So we also have to integrate rest in everything that we're doing with these energies. So this is very much a continuation of what the energies were a couple days before. The sun is going to trine Saturn. And the sun trining Saturn and Neptune, to be honest, the sun trining Saturn and Neptune is that, again, shedding light on the old patriarchal paradigms that are no longer working, and inviting the males, the strong women with, that have a balance in their masculine and feminine, but men to really look at who they are now and begin to move into new directions, to move into partnership with women, to move in equality, to move into their fearlessness, because they also have been suppressed and repressed. They've been lied to. We've all been lied to for thousands of years. Truth is going to start coming out. And over the next couple of years will be quite shocking, but particularly the next year. Who we are, where we came from, and the lies we have been told is really the theme of the next couple of years, so that we can choose differently. It isn't about punishing anyone. It is about we get to choose differently as to who we are, get to move into more of a spiritual existence. Mercury retrograding through this period of time, through the mid degrees of Leo as well, is having us rethink, redo, reconsider what we're doing and who we are. Who are we? Who are you? What is your part? And where are you now? On this particular new moon, the moon opposes Pluto. This, again, is women stepping into their power, strong feminine energies stepping into their power, advocating for women and children. And I do know there's a lot of anxiety with women out there. Like I said, we have already lost a lot of our rights, and we see what these guys are wanting to do. And there's no way. That's why so many of the protests mid-June and then the July 4th protest, there were in the protest that I've seen, the parades, there was a whole contingency of women in the red capes and the white caps from The Handmaid's Tale. The author of the Handmaid's Tale series had basically said, when she was interviewed, I saw that, and again, I'm really bad with names, but I need to speak to this because it popped in, that she was just shocked and surprised that that hadn't happened in our country. You know, we all saw the television version of Handmaid's Tale, and many did buy the books and read. But her perspective was, she was really shocked that it hadn't happened. Well, the interview was just a few years ago, right? Here we are. That's exactly what these guys are trying to do. And I don't know any young women out there. I'm not of reproductive age, but I don't know any of these very powerful women, you know, and the younger generations that are going to put up with any of that. Please share this if someone needs a pep talk, because that's kind of what I'm meaning it to be. And to please be kind, to be loving, to be forgiving. There is a lot of healing of families happening at this time. Be open to any of those that were really deceived and bought hook, line, and sinker, drank the Kool-Aid, whatever analogy you want to speak to, the lies and manipulation of DT and his cronies. Pray for those that are suffering at this time around the world. But I am a Texan, and I know Kerrville. I've been all over the state and all over Hill Country, and my heart breaks for those families. I would say there's going to be responsibility laid at the feet of Elon and, you know, Donald and that administration, because the key meteorological person in Austin had been fired that was supposed to be doing, you know, setting up the and working with the systems of letting people know this was about to happen. So the early warning systems were not turned on. This is what happens when you let, you know, as one of my dreaming women soul sisters says, the clown car of an administration go in and hack and slash and rape and pillage is basically what they're doing. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Take care of yourselves. Get involved in community. Let's move this forward and stop it sooner than later. We are the ones we are waiting for. We are the ones who have to stop it. And we have way more power than most of us know. So they're already starting to fail. They are. I've seen it over the last couple of months. They are already starting to fail. So don't lose faith. Okay? Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you next week. I would also give it just a little heads up. I really do appreciate all of the support that has come, you know, from all of you over, you know, since October when I first launched. I love what I'm doing here, and there are going to be changes. My last video for the next couple of months will be in next week. I believe it is, yeah, next week. For the last week of July, I am going to be moving. We have to find a new house to rent, and we're not ready to buy. We really can't afford it, to be really honest, at this time. But we are going to have to move. We are going to move locally. So, but I pack everything because I have precious heirloom things from family, etc. So I pack. Other people have to lift and move, and then it's going to take me a while to unpack, and then it's going to take me a while to recover from all of it. I'm going to do it as kindly and gently on this body as I can do it. Just know you will all be in my thoughts and prayers, and yeah, and I will be back. There's going to be new formats. and some new collaborations. I'm going to be working together with another medical astrologer, and I mean, I feel like I found my sister. So yeah, and we are going to be. I am going to be organizing, restructuring, and I will be back. I will be back, but I'm going to take a 2-month hiatus, and then I'll be back. And so don't forget to subscribe. I will be back. Okay. Much love. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you later.